Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Steelers TJ, what gets contract update after Myles Garrett's Browns decision? It's questionable why the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't signed TJ Watt to a massive extension. Watt, arguably one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, is still 30 years old, and he has been a very productive player for the Steelers throughout his career, since he debuted in 2017. Watt posted 11.5 sacks in 2024, after posting 19.0 in 2023 and 22.5 in 2022. He'll be paid like the top edge rusher in the NFL, and rightfully so. According to a recent report from Ray Fittipaldo of the Post-Gazette, however, it's now suggested that things could get ugly if the Steelers don't sign him soon. He added that the Steelers know the market is set with the Cleveland Browns signing Myles Garrett to a 4-year, $160 million deal. Unfortunately for the Steelers, the Browns set the market. It's not really a matter of whether he's worth it or not. It's the business side of football. You can make an argument many of the top-paid QBs aren't worth the money they make, but the market is set. Either you pay, or you move on to another player. And I just don't see the Steelers moving on from Watt unless the negotiation gets really ugly, he wrote. Regarding when a contract could come, another report suggested that the Pittsburgh Steelers will be patient with this deal. It was added that it isn't even Memorial Day yet, and the Steelers understand that they have time to get something done. As long as the deal is done before training camp, both sides should be content with how things are going. The Cleveland Browns, however, didn't take this approach, despite Garrett's trade request. Patience. Signing a superstar such as TJ Watt to a contract extension is not a simple matter, and so it's going to take time. Those kinds of things usually take place during the summer, and we're not even to Memorial Day yet, Bob Labriola of the Steelers wrote. While being patient could work in the long run for the Steelers, it'd be in their best interest to get a deal done before Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys signs his contract. Parsons, one of the top edge rushers in the NFL, is only 25. For that reason alone, he'll likely get a bigger deal than Watt and Parsons. The issue, however, is that if the Steelers wait to extend him until after Parsons signs, there's a good chance Dallas will reset the market again, and the Steelers will have to give him a bigger contract. Pittsburgh failed to extend Watt before Raiders D. Max Crosby, who took the edge rusher market to $35 million a year. The Steelers looked hesitation once more right in the face and backed down, but this time, Browns superstar D. Myles Garrett took the number to an absurd $40 million per year. It is rumored that Parsons is looking to become the first ever defensive player to receive a $200 million total contract. Offering Watt a 3-year, $122 million contract would not only give him bragging rights over Garrett, but also keep the Cowboys star D from inadvertently destroying the Steelers' cap space, Andrew Vasquez of USA Today wrote. This is all about being smart with the Steelers' cap. Waiting this long doesn't have many benefits outside of trying to get creative. However, it's time to call it what it is and give the stars money, like the Cleveland Browns did. Buy or sell. Caleb Johnson will have more carries than Jaylen Warren this season. Buy or sell. Caleb Johnson will record more carries than Jaylen Warren by the end of the season. Explanation. Ever since the Steelers drafted Caleb Johnson, the tides seem to be turning against Jaylen Warren, still a fan favorite. This offseason, the team moved on from Najee Harris, opening a window for many more touches. But how many will Warren seize, and how many will go to the shiny new object? Caleb Johnson is the first running back the Steelers have drafted as a player scouted specifically for Arthur Smith's offense. As seemingly everybody has mentioned, his style of running and background all fit Smith's preferences. A patient zone runner with burst, he won't take long to acclimate to the system. The Steelers want to get Johnson on the field, and carries are the easiest way to do it. While Johnson may edge out Jaylen Warren in carries, Warren will likely outsnap him. He should command the overwhelming share of the remaining carries constituting passing and blocking situations. Basically, any play that isn't designed to stuff the ball in the runner's gut, Warren should see. These are always the sorts of conversations that happen in May, far less often in September. It's a challenge not to have some level of excitement around a rookie because he represents potential without prior failure. Caleb Johnson can be the next Derrick Henry right now, so nobody is thinking he could be the next late-stage Eddie Lacy. We know who Jaylen Warren is, though, at least within certain parameters. Granted, we haven't seen the Steelers throw a full-time starter's load at Warren before, especially in terms of carries. To date, he has never had more than 15 carries in a game, and only 12 games of 10-plus carries. Caleb Johnson is also bigger and evidently built with more endurance. Warren's injuries, especially last season, may raise concerns. But here's the bottom line: Warren is the experienced and proven player. If he were healthy last season, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Caleb Johnson is a nice player and may prove to be a very strong long-term starter. But that doesn't mean he'll carry the lion's share as a rookie over an experienced, proven veteran. The Steelers are building toward the 2025 season, following yet another disappointing year. While they reached the playoffs, they once again lost decisively in the first round. They are facing questions, both publicly and perhaps privately as well. Questions about the standard and what the Steelers stand for. The rookie class of a year ago was successful, but they need to step up into staple starters in 2025. And they need everyone healthy to do it, not an insignificant consideration. They needed a strong influx of talent in both free agency and in the 2025 NFL draft yet again. These sorts of uncertainties are what we will address in our Buy or Sell series. In each installment, we will introduce a topic statement and weigh some of the arguments for either buying it, meaning that you agree with it or expect it to be true, or selling it, meaning you disagree with it or expect it to be false. How many wins is Aaron Rodgers worth to the Steelers in 2025? According to Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers would win 4 more games with Aaron Rodgers than without. Is he in the right ballpark? On his Football and podcast, he worked through the Steelers' schedule game by game. In a separate tally for with and without Rodgers, he had the team finishing 11-6 and 7-10, respectively. Now, if Aaron Rodgers is the difference in 4 Steelers wins, then he is probably worth the wait. That's a big swing, and the difference between competing and preparing for next season. But whether he can deliver that kind of play at this point in his career is entirely unknown. Certainly, the Aaron Rodgers of 2024 wasn't a +4 wins factor for a Jets team that finished 5-11. The Steelers finished 10-6 last season without Rodgers, including Russell Wilson finishing 6-5. But there are simply too many unknowns involved, the most important being whether we should trust last season's performance. The Steelers clearly do not, or they wouldn't be wasting time waiting for Aaron Rodgers. While he is a shoo-in for a spot in the Hall of Fame, that doesn't mean he will play at that level now. But they obviously think he can help them win some games this year. The question is, how many? We can't even begin to answer that question without exploring the alternative options. Minus Rodgers, the Steelers' quarterbacks are Mason Rudolph, Skylar Thompson, and rookie Will Howard. While Howard will eventually overtake Tom Brady as the greatest 6th-round pick in NFL history, he will not play this season, in all likelihood, at least not by intention, as the clear starter of the current group is Mason Rudolph. So, what the premise really is how many more games will Aaron Rodgers win for the Steelers than Rudolph? Ben Roethlisberger's answer is 4, but that is a pretty high number. Of course, it's not just about how many games a quarterback might win for a team, but also how many he might lose. Presumably, Rodgers is better equipped to handle a shootout against an elite quarterback. At least he used to be. The problem is we don't know if he still can. But we do know that Rudolph never has, and that's part of the equation, too. The Steelers are rebuilding, or reloading, whatever they feel the need to call it, after another disappointment last season. Though they limped into the playoffs, they once again embarrassed themselves therein. Just like last year, the biggest question hanging over the Steelers is the quarterback question. While they ultimately traded George Pickens, they have other decisions to make. The 2025 NFL draft class is now behind us, so most of the roster construction is complete. But we still have a long offseason ahead for Steelers football, or football in shorts. Certain will he or won't he situations remain in play, which we continue to monitor. Now, it's about evaluating the roster in place and filling holes as we go.